Hey guys, so I'm back. I have finished. I finished. I finished. And it brought me to tears. Like, the ending brought me to tears. Some of them were like sad tears. Like I was crying. My dog was looking at me like he was looking at me last night like, ma'am, I'm trying to sleep and you doing this crying and moving around and everything like that and screaming and yelling. But I feel like, that just tells how into this book I got. Okay. But it was very beautifully written. Yeah, like I really liked it. I loved the ending. I'm kind of sad that it ended, but I am excited to pick up book two, which I believe is called, I believe she put the name of the second book in this series in the back. Let me see real quick. Yeah. It's called Irresistible Attraction, and it is Jace Cross story. So yeah, Jace is one of the characters in here. So it's continuing with his story, but we get to see our two main characters, Carter and Arya. I think that's how you pronounce her name, Carter and Arya, in there. So it's supposed to be a continuance on what Jace is doing, but with peaks and everything like that of Carter and Arya from where they left off at the ending of this book. So yeah, it was a really good book. I am so happy with this read. So yeah, I am still writing chapter 2. I have started a new book that is called hold on, let me grab the title of that real quick. Okay, so the title of that book that I just started is called Not Ready Yet, which is said to be Assurance Security Duet. So I'm reading book 1, and that is by Julian West. It is on Kindle Unlimited, and I am pretty sure that there is a physical copy. I haven't looked, but it is on Kindle Unlimited. It's pretty good so far. Our female character, she is pregnant, heavily pregnant, 8 months pregnant. So just about done with her pregnancy. And she was working 2 jobs. She was working in a club. The club was an adult club, aka you had women there who were dancers, but she wasn't one. She was a server. She met a guy, went on a date, had a one-night stand with him, got pregnant, never heard from him again. I have theories about what I believe most likely happened to him after that, because it's a customer at the job. I'm not going to get too much into it, but it is a customer at the job, at her serving job, that is kind of infatuated with her, that kind of gives her creepy vibes. Women, we know when someone is creepy. We know when a man is creepy. We have that intuition that something is telling us to be cautious of that individual. And something was telling her to be cautious of that individual since the beginning, before she even got pregnant. But considering that, he was kind, a very well-liked customer. He brought in his friends. They tipped very well, which was mostly her. She didn't really think nothing much of it, but she was still cautious around him. In her second job, she was a cam girl. And let's just say she wasn't playing video games or talking about everyday life like that. She was doing some other stuff in the face of a camera with male viewers. But it was one male viewer who just wanted to, talk. He was one of her VIP members, and they just talked and, talked about her day, and then he watched her sleep, which is weird because I don't even like my own fiance looking at me sleep. I I don't know. I guess he could probably look at me while I'm in a deep sleep. But if I am not that far deep into my sleep and I feel someone looking at me, I get so self-cautious. Like, am I snoring? Am I drooling? You know, I get so self-cautious about what I'm doing in my sleep. He has told me that I snore, but I told him that is not possible. That is not possible. I have shared the room with my grandma one time, and she never told me that I snored. She never heard me snore a day, and like, she has never said nothing. So I'm like, how is that possible that I snore? But yeah, I have been called a wild sleeper, but never a snorer. But that's neither here nor there. So one night, our customer decides to follow us home at 2:00 in the morning. Sir, we as customer service people in the food and beverage industry or in the club industry, we only deal with you during business hours. As soon as that business closed and I clock out to go home, I don't want to deal with you. I don't want to deal with you. We don't want to deal with you. Like, you are invalid. If we see you on the street, you be like, hey, how you doing? Okay, yes, bye. Like, you know, you come through, yes, see you then. But other than that, we don't want to deal with you after business hours. We want to go home and relax and unwind. But he didn't understand. He, as my sister, as some other people call it, say, he didn't understand the assignment. But yeah, like, you know, she's heavily pregnant. But then old buddy decides to get even bolder and like literally break into her apartment. Like, they stay in a crappy side of town of where like security is like non-existent, of where you see something happen, like you as a neighbor see something happen that's literally highly illegal, you mind your own business and look the other way. The cops come and knocking, you know nothing, you don't know nothing, you don't see nothing, you don't say nothing. Hear no evil, see no evil, say no evil, say nothing. That is how that worked. So her roommate luckily caught old buddy in the apartment, and he was saying they were dating. But according to our subscriber who tuned in while we were asleep, he was just standing in the room like a creeper looking over us. You standing in the room. And you looking. You just watching. And then you have the audacity to tell lie to my roommate that you and I are dating. First of all, I don't know about some, but I would never date a customer. If I was a waitress and you were a customer that walked in, I would never date you. I would never bump me being with my fiance. If I was not with him, I still would not date you. I would not date you. If I was not with my fiance, if I have never met my fiance and I was a waitress, I would not date you because you are a customer. Just because you nice to me while I'm working and everything like that, do not mean that you will be nice to me in a relationship. Anyway, but yes, it's an interesting read. If that does not convince y'all to go and read this book, I don't know what will. But, you know, to each their own on that front. I believe it's like a werewolf type of vibe going on in there, because they're talking about alphas, betas, omegas, all of that stuff. So yeah, who knows. But if you don't check out that story, please give Miss Willow Winters a check. You know, check her out. I will link her her TikTok profile in the description of this video, so you guys will click over to her, see a couple of her videos as she talks about some of her books, her mystery book boxes and everything like that, all the stuff that she got going on. Her books are available on Amazon for purchase, but you know, if you want, like, you know, signed copies of her books and some nice bookish goodies, get you a book box from her. Okay, get you a book box from her. Yeah.